Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh, for giving me the spirit and power to make this lesson. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach this truth, and Ruel, Wabrakatham, unto the elect. This is the Brother Gabar. I'm back with another lesson, and I want to go over the power in prayer, because there is a lot of power in prayer. Because you got to remember, who's hearing the prayer? Who are you praying to? Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shai, the supreme power, the power of existence itself, right? That's the person, that's the one hearing your prayer. And what you're asking for literally will be answered. But the key to your prayer is faith. Because if you doubt, then you lose it all. You don't receive anything. So you must believe in the prayer that you are praying, even before you pray, as Yahweh Shai instructed us on how we pray, and that we shouldn't use many words. You can go read Matthew chapter 6. All right, even the Lord's Prayer. All right. So praying to Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shai is very, very powerful. And you don't want to just be sending up prayers and you're just not really fully believing in your prayer, because prayer works. All right. I could title this lesson, The Power in Prayer, or Prayer Works. It's probably going to be titled The Power in Prayer. All right. And as Sirach 2:10 says, to look at the generations of old. All right. Did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Did ever any abide in the fear of the Lord and was forsaken? No. Or who did he despise that it called upon him? Nobody. So you calling upon the Lord, you won't be despised. All right. You won't be forsaken. You won't be confounded. All right. As long as you believe in the Lord, you're abiding in the fear of the Lord, and you calling upon him in the time of trouble, there's a lot of power in that, because you're in league with a power that's so much more greater than yourself. All right. Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shai's power is so much more greater than anything that we could comprehend. We can't comprehend them. Okay. So don't sleep on sending up prayers, which you should be praying daily. Don't sleep on sending up prayers to Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shai. All right. Now let's grab Mark chapter 11 and verse 23. It says, this is Yahweh Shai speaking. For verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say to this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith, Salakia, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. Whatsoever you say, whatever you are requesting in your prayer can happen as long as you believe. Okay? And there's countless examples. All of the ones written about. Solomon, he prayed for wisdom, it was given to him. David, all right, he was praying to be delivered in different things, it was given to him. Susanna, she cried out to the Lord, she prayed, she cried out to the Lord, and she was delivered. Okay. The three holy children were praising the Lord in the midst of the fiery furnace, and they were delivered by Yahweh Shai himself, which all of the deliverances, the Lord himself, of course, but literally physically Yahweh Shai was there with them in that fire, man. What a spectacular deliverance that was. And so on and so forth. When has prayer ever failed? As long as the person believed. So it's not Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shai when your prayer isn't getting answered. It's you. You got to work on your doubt as what? Let me get a quick one. Real quick. Mark chapter 9 I might grab this in the unbelief. In the unbelief. I might grab this in the NLT. Salakia, hold on. Mark chapter 9, and we're gonna start at verse. All right, let's NLT this. Mark chapter 9 in the NLT. And let's start at verse. We're going to start at verse 20, all right? Going to the point, all right? After Yahweh Shai was telling them, you faithless people, all right, because they couldn't cast the demon out, his disciples, all right? Now we're going to jump into verse 20. Mark 9 and 20 in the NLT. It says, so they brought the boy, but when the evil spirit saw Yahweh Shai, it threw the child into a violent convulsion, and he fell to the ground, writhing and foaming at the mouth. Verse 21, how long has this been happening? Yahweh Shai asked the boy's father. He replied, since he was a little boy. The spirit often throws him into the fire or into water, trying to kill him. Have mercy on us and help us if you can. Verse 23, what do you mean, if I can? Yahweh Shai asked. Anything is possible if a person believes. You see? So as long as you have the faith, then guess what? It can happen. All right? As long as you believe in Yahweh B'Shem Shai enough, then what you requesting can come to pass. You can move that mountain in the name of Yahweh B'Shem Shai, but you have to believe. Now here's a good point of what the father said. Verse 24, the father instantly cried out, I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief. You see? So I believe, but help my unbelief. That's what it said in the KJV. Verse 25, when Yahweh Shai saw that the crowd of overlookers was growing, he rebuked the evil spirit. Listen, you spirit that makes this boy unable to hear and speak. He said, I command you to come out of this child and never enter him again. Then the spirit screamed and threw the boy into another violent convulsion and left him. The boy appeared to be dead. A murmur ran through the crowd as people said, he's dead. But Yahweh Shai took him by the hand and helped him to his feet, and he stood up. Right? And then it goes down. All right, and we're going to read this because there's one more point I want to grab out of this chapter. Verse 28. It says, afterward, when Yahweh Shai was alone in the house with his disciples, they asked him, why couldn't we cast out the evil spirit? Verse 29. Yahweh Shai replied, this kind can be cast out only by prayer. Let me read that again, verse 29. Yahweh Shai replied, this kind can be cast out only by prayer. So you see how powerful prayer really is. Prayer is beyond powerful. Prayer is your direct connection to Yahweh B'Shem Shai. You're requesting, you're asking something, and the Lord is hearing you, and he's acting upon what you said. The creator himself, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. The names, man, you got to have so much more fear and faith and reverence to those names that when you ask Yahweh B'Shem Shai something, they looking down like he believe. We gonna get this to him. Okay? That's what the Lord likes. Let's get that. The Lord isn't pleased with unbelief. Just like you wouldn't be pleased if your woman didn't believe in you. Right? You about to run a race or something and you ain't gonna win anyway. Bitch, I've been training for months. Right? It don't matter. You ain't gonna mess with a broad like that. Verse 11. Hebrews 11 and 6. Okay? It says in the KJV, but without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahweh must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So you have to believe that the Lord gonna answer your prayers, that he gonna reward you as you seek him, right? And ultimately the reward is the kingdom. We're not looking for nothing on this side, but yes, the Lord does drop gems and the Lord does answer prayers. Okay, as long as it's within his will, what you praying for. Lord, I want a Bugatti, please, now. Lord, why? Why are you just about to pop out with it? The Lord ain't finna, just answer some dumb stuff, But something in the will of the Lord, trouble coming, trouble's there, and you call Yahweh Bashim Shah, please save me. And you've been honestly sincere, toiling, fearing the Lord, believing, doing what you're supposed to do, right? Being patient, being long-suffering, learning your lessons, all right? Yeah, the Lord is going to have a lot of pleasure and delight, and he's going to deliver you, man. Okay? But without faith, none of this is possible. Faith is the key to getting your prayers heard, which is getting your prayers answered, okay? Going back to Mark 11:23. It says, for verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, which this isn't literally speaking about actually saying this to a mountain and actually being cast into the sea, but what you saying coming to pass, you being able to do great things, all right, being able to do great things with prayer. My tongue a little twisted, it's like I'm kind of excited to make this lesson, okay? Lord got me excited to make this lesson tonight. But doing great things with prayer, with Yahweh Bashim Shai, all right? Things that are not normal to this place, okay? But they can be done with Yahweh Bashim Shai because he is the power and you're connected to that power, all right? That's the power you're praying to, okay? It says, and shall not doubt in his heart, right? Because if you doubt, then the Lord isn't pleased with you if you're doubting. He's not pleased with doubt, okay? He's pleased with faith, all right? What he told you he was going to do, right? Even if the Lord will even have a situation happen to see if you going to doubt. Just like Peter when he was walking on that water to Yahweh Shai, and then that storm popped up. The Lord wanted to see, all right? And he started to doubt. That's why when he cried out, he started sinking. He cried out, and the Lord immediately saved him. I just seen a chariot. Oh, my, man. I did not expect that right now. Oh, man. Call all Yahweh Bashim Shai in the middle of the lesson. Man. Now, that's why I was excited to make this lesson, because I seen one right before I made this lesson. Man, hey, man, prayer, prayer is very powerful, okay? Prayer is very powerful, all right? Let's keep going, all right? But what did Yahweh Shai tell Peter, all right? What did Yahweh Shai tell Peter? Let's just grab it right quick. Man, okay. Matthew 14:31. And immediately Yahweh Shai stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? Right. Because he was doubting because the situation around him. So the Lord will cause a situation. All right. He'll cause a situation to test your faith. To see, is he going to doubt? Is he going to believe? Which the Lord already know. But yeah. Okay. So even in a situation, you still got to be faithful. Because the Lord can just calm the situation anyway. The Lord will calm the situation. He'll make the storm pass. Just like he did when he was on the ship with the disciples. and he was asleep. All right, and it was that storm, and they was like, we finna die, and he rebuked the storm, and they was all scared because it was like even the sea obey him. Yeah, because that's Yahweh Shai, the master of, that's the son of Yahweh. Okay, okay. You know, he created everything. Yahweh used him to create everything. This is his stuff. All right, he has all power. He's not limited. Okay, but you know, going to the point. All right, little doubt, little faith, because doubt. So don't allow doubt to creep in, even if the situation around you looks completely crazy, man. And it's gonna look like that to test your faith, because that's what's gonna grow your faith. If nothing ever happens, if you don't never go to the gym, you're not gonna have muscles then. You don't never hit them push-ups, you ain't gonna have no chest. So the Lord gotta give you experiences. The Lord gotta give you certain things, right? To help your faith grow. Because that was all for Peter to grow. All of that. All right, look at Peter's walk and how he was growing. The disciples, right? That was all learning purposes. Okay. Now, going back to Mark 11:23, it says, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass. He shall have whatsoever he saith. Okay? So you can have anything if you pray for it and you believe. Go look at everybody in the Holy Scriptures, the Holy Bible, all right? Go look, and look when they prayed, did they not get what they asked for? Right? Did they not? Yes, they did. Yeah, they did, man. And of course, it's certain people that the Lord just didn't hear. It will say that. All right? So having the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai hear your prayer is him answering your prayer, man, because he's gonna answer your prayer. He ain't just the righteous just praying and he hearing and that's it. Nah, man, he's gonna answer your prayer. Okay. Psalms chapter 34 and verse 17. The righteous cry. All right, they're crying out to Yahweh Bashim Shai. They're praying, right? The righteous cry, and the Lord Yahweh heareth and delivereth them out of all their troubles. You see? So the Lord hearing your prayer is the Lord answering your prayer simultaneously. If the Lord hearing your prayer, he's going to answer he is answering your prayer. He's going to move. He's going to do something, right? Let's grab that right here. Sirach 35 and 17. It says, the prayer of the humble, see? Because you got to remember, let me get this. You got to remember this. James 4 and 6. It says, but he giveth more grace, wherefore he saith, Yahweh resisteth the proud. So the Lord is far from the proud people. All right. It says, but giveth grace unto the humble. So that's who the Lord favors, the contrite, the humble people. If you're proud, the Lord is far from you. Look at Esau, far from his ass. All right. Look at the prideful of our people, way far from them. All right. Because they're far from him. But the humble, the meek, all right, which is the ones that are in this truth. All right. That's who the Lord is nigh unto. Okay. And you want to get as close to Yahweh Bashim Shai as possible, man. We want to be as close as we can to Yahweh Bashim Shai without a doubt. Okay. And if you're close to the Lord, your prayer is close to the Lord when you pray. And he answers it. Let's grab that. Oh, well, we was already reading it. Really. Going back. Let's go back to Sirach. Sirach 35:17. The prayer of the humble, right? Because he resists the proud. He, you know, matter of fact, Slakia, but real quick, I just got to get that definition of the word resist. It says resist on Google definition. It says withstand the action of or effect of. All right. Similar word says combat. All right. It says weather, repel, keep out. Shoot. So imagine people trying to call on the Lord. He keeping them prayers out. He ain't answering that. It says the second definition right here, number 2. It says refrain from doing or having something tempting or unwise. Yeah, he refraining from answering your prayer. He refraining from hearing it. Well, of course he knows what you're saying. Of course the Lord knows what you're saying. But he not hearing your prayer. He's hearing the righteous prayer. Okay. And he acting. Right? Man. All right. Let's go back. So I want to finish that Sirach. It says Sirach 35:17 again. I know I done read it a million times, but hey, edification. It says the prayer of the humble pierceth the clouds until it cometh nigh. You see, you gotta be close to the Lord. You gotta do what you're supposed to do to be close. Abide in the fear. Believe and trust in Yahweh Shema Shai. He likes that. He has pleasure in that. Okay? It says, until it come nigh, he will not be comforted and will not depart till the Most High shall behold the judge righteously and execute judgment right. So the Lord is going to make sure he make good on your prayer. You pray, all right, you got the elect person, all right, on earth praying, sending up prayers, man. And the Lord is hearing it, and he's fast acting on getting that prayer done, man. Whatever it is, okay? The Lord is not going to just sit around and just, okay. Nah, man. Nah, the Lord actually hears you. Literally, your exact words is going to his ear. And that's so heavy alone, man. You gotta understand that the angel is taking your prayer to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Do you know how heavy that is? Do you know who that is? You know? I'm speaking to myself too. That's beyond heavy. That's beyond heavy, bruh. Because with that power, what can you do? Anything. Anything you say. Lord, make these people blind. They're blind. Lord, open their eyes. Right? Alicia. Okay? And many other things, man. Many other. You go read about every single book. You got us praying. All right? And when the Lord answered them prayers, man. Okay? And you also got when the Lord refrains himself, when he don't. Right? So, hey, you got to make sure what side you want to be on. All right? So be humble. And you got to have humility knowing that Yahweh Shema Shai is listening to you and answering your prayers too. You don't want to be puffed up. Lord answering my prayers. You know, I must be somebody. You don't want to be puffed up, because then the Lord is just going to begin refraining then. You know? All right? So be humble, man. And as it said, the prayers of the humble pierce the cloud, man. Pierce the cloud. It's going up there fast. As you praying, the Lord is listening. Facts. You praying, the Lord is hearing you. He's listening. Okay? It ain't no delay. It ain't no line. It ain't no email backup, you know, like how it is, you know, with shit here on earth. You know, stuff taking so much time and all. No. The Lord heard you, and you got to believe that. And when you believe that, it also gives you comfort over whatever you pray for. So then you ain't got to fret. You ain't got to go crazy. You ain't got to, the Lord heard you. All right. James chapter 1 and verse 5 now. It says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. Right. If you need something, you ask Yahweh Shema Shai. Specifically, this is talking about wisdom. Okay. But also remember, you still have to run. All right. You still have to move. Okay. You don't just pray and then that's just it. Yahweh Shema Shai, I need help on my rent, and you ain't go to work. That don't make sense. Just, hypothetically, just, throwing situations out there, just showing you. So you still got to move once you ask the Lord for something. As the scriptures say, knock and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. You're not just going to find. The door just not going to be open. You got to knock on that door, right? You got to go out there and look. Okay? So once you pray, remember, you got to put in your effort as well towards Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay? But the Lord is not going to upbraid. He ain't just, this person, If you're doing what you're supposed to do, hey, man, Yahweh Shema Shai is with you. Okay? Verse 6. It says, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. So you can't doubt at all. Not a tittle, not a jot, not a nothing. Okay? As the scriptures say, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. All right? So you got to fully believe in Yahweh Shema Shai. Literally. Okay? Literally. No matter what the situation look like, no matter what, you praying, hey, let that prayer fly up to Yahweh Shema Shai. He heard you. He gonna act on it. For sure, for sure, for sure. All right? Ain't no doubting. Because if you doubt, then the Lord ain't messing with you. The Lord don't like doubt. All right? It says, nothing wavering, verse 6. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. Yeah, you all over the place, here and there. All right, the Lord ain't with that, bro. Lord ain't with that. Okay. Verse 7 is the point as well. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. So if you doubting Yahweh Shema Shai, all right, if you doubting the prayer, you praying and then you, damn, I don't know if this really gonna happen though. Well, guess what? You ain't gonna get it anyway. You ain't gonna get it anyway. All right. But the person that's sending up the prayer to Yahweh Shema Shai, and there, man, I know he heard me, man. I'm just gonna wait on the Lord. And they just stay in that spirit of prayer. Then guess what? The Lord gonna move for them and he gonna do something. All right. Because he's pleased with that servant. Because they believe. And in that belief, they're already moving with fear. Because they believe. All right. Because fear and faith go hand in hand. Okay. Now let's grab Psalms 34:4. It says in the NLT, I prayed to the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, and he answered me. He freed me from all my fears. Now I want to grab this in the KJV. All right. It says, I sought the Lord Yahweh by Shema Shai, and he heard me and delivered me from all my fears. So Yahweh by Shema Shai, hearing your prayer is the same and simultaneous with the Lord answering your prayer. Because if the Lord hears your prayer, he's definitely going to answer that prayer. He's not just hearing it and just, okay, damn, he need help. Shit. And that's just it. And he just leaving you out there to the dogs. Nah, man. The Lord is fast acting. The Lord is going to do whatever you need him to do, man. You see how much power is in prayer because of who you're praying to and who is listening to that prayer and the power that they got and what they can do for you. The power that's on your side when you praying to that higher power and they're moving for you. They're helping you. They're hearing you and answering that prayer. That's a lot of power. Okay, so don't sleep on prayer, man. Do not sleep on prayer. All right, though it may on earth, it may look like a simple thing. All right, it is very much not a simple thing. It is very, very heavy, and it's something that everybody should be doing. That's in this truth every day, man. All right, even thanking Yahweh Shema Shai, in their prayer and asking for mercy, because we all need it. But I just want to go over that. That was heavy in the spirit. Even angel. Before the lesson. During the lesson, the Lord wanted this lesson to get out. So Lord's will, this was edifying and exhort, myself and, you know, the sincere believers that will hear this to pray even more, because Yahweh Shema Shai likes it. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Shema Shai for giving me the spirit and power to make this lesson. Until next time, Kamya Shalom.